Now we want to insert product data into MySQL database with image upload under this React point of sale application. We have already built at product component, and now we want to store product data. So for this, first we have goes into frontend directory and open at product component file. And here, let us walk through our handleSubmit function. This is the asynchronous function that runs when the user submits our at product form. Under this function, we have to write event.prevent default function. This is crucial. It stops the browser from doing its default form submission, which would cause a full page reload, and we want to handle this submission ourselves by using JavaScript. Next, we call setError with an empty string. This is a bit of good user experience. If the user failed a submission before and saw an error, then this line clears that old error message as soon as they try to submit again. Now we move into our front-end validation. We start with an if statement to check our required fields. We are checking if category ID, product name, or product price variable value are falsy, that means they are empty or have not been set. If any of those required fields are missing, then we set a new error message telling the user what's wrong. And then, we have to write return statement. This immediately stops the function, and we do not want to even try making an API call if the basic data is not there. Okay, so if the validation passes, we move on, and we create a new instance of FormData. Here we are using FormData specifically, because our form includes a file upload. This is the standard way to send multipart FormData, which is what servers need for file uploads. Once we have our FormData object, then we start appending our data from the component's state. So here, we append the category ID, product name, product price, and product status. And each append call takes a key and a value, which is how the server will identify each piece of data. After this, the product image is optional, so we wrap its append in an if statement. We only want to add the image to our FormData object if the user has actually selected one. If product image exists, then we append it to the FormData object, just like the other fields. The FormData API is smart enough to handle the file object correctly. And now we are ready to make our network request. We wrap this entire operation in a try and catch block. This is essential for handling any errors that might happen during the API call, and like the network being down, or the server sending back an error. Inside the try block, our first step is to get the user's authentication token from local storage. This endpoint is protected, and the server needs to know who is making this request. Here is the main event. We await a call to Axios.post method. We are sending a post request to our local API endpoint. The second argument is the data, and we are sending, which is our complete FormData object. The third argument is a configuration object. This is where we set our request headers, and we need two headers here. First, the authorization header. Here we use a template literal to pass in our token with the bearer scheme. This is how our server will authenticate the user. Second, we set the content type to multipart FormData. This tells the server to expect FormData, including a file. When you use FormData with Axios, it often sets this for you, but being explicit is always a good idea. If the await call completes without throwing an error, it means our product was created successfully. The code then continues to this line, where we use the maps function from React Router to redirect the user to the product page, where they can see their new product in the list. But what if something went wrong? If the Axios.post call fails, then the try block stops, and the code jumps immediately to our catch block, which receives the error object. Inside the catch block, we set an error. We try to get the specific error message from the server's response, using error.response.data.error. We use optional chaining just in case that path does not exist. If we cannot find a specific server error, then we fall back to a generic, an error occurred, message. This way, the user is always notified that something went wrong. So here, the entire handleSubmit function. It is a complete, robust flow that handles validation, data formatting, authentication, success, and errors. Now we have goes to form tag, and here, we have to write, on submit event is equal to, open and close bracket, and between this we have called handleSubmit function, so when form will submit, then it will call handleSubmit function. So here, our front-end code is ready, and now we have goes to backend directory, and goes into product routes file. Now moving to our backend code, let us see how we handle that form submission. First, we define a constant upload directory set to uploads. This is where we will store our images. Below this, we then immediately check if this directory does not exist by using fs.existSync function. If it is missing, then we create it with fs.makeDirectorySync. This is a one-time setup step to make sure we always have a destination for our files. Next, we set up Multer, our middleware for handling file uploads. We create a storage configuration using multer.disk storage, which tells Multer to save files to the server's disk. Inside disk storage, we first define the destination. This is a function that tells Multer where to put the file. We simply call the callback, cb, with null for the error, and pass in our upload directory variable. Next, we define the file name. This is another function that determines what to name the file on our server. We do not want to use the original file name, as it could cause conflicts if two users upload same name image. So, to create a unique name, we combine date.now function, a large random number, by using math.random function. And then, we use path.extension name to grab the file's original extension. After this, we call the callback, and passing null for the error, and our new unique name is ready. So here, our storage configuration is ready. Next we create our main Multer instance, which we will call upload. In first argument, we have defined storage variable, in which we have defined our storage configuration. After this, we add a file filter. This is a crucial security step to validate files before we save them. This function will run for every incoming file. Inside our file filter, we define an allowed types array. And here we have to define that we only want to accept particular extension image only. Below this, we check that if selected file MIME type is not included in our allowed list by using this if statement. If above condition true, then inside if statement, we have to write return statement with cb function. And under this, we have to called new error function with error message like invalid file, and this stops the upload, and sends an error back. But if the file type is valid, then we call the callback, with null for the error and true, which tells Multer, go ahead, this file is okay. So here, our file upload configuration using Multer is ready, and now we have moved to process form data. Okay, now we get to the route itself. Here we are defining a router.post handler for the /products endpoint. This is what our React app will call. This route has three middleware functions that run in order. First, authenticate token middleware to check if the user is logged in. Second, is admin middleware is to check if they have permission. And third, our Multer middleware, which is upload.single, with file tag name product image, so it will upload selected file into uploads directory. After that, we have a second array, which is for validation, by using Express-Validator. Under this validation, first we have to write body function with form field name category ID. After this, we have to write not empty function, and after this, we have to write with message function with message like category is required. So it will check if this category ID variable is empty, then it will trigger this error message. After this, we have to write body function with product name form field name. After this, we have to call trim function, and after this, again we have called not empty function with message function with error message like product name is required. So it will check that if this product name field has blank value, then it will display this error message on web page. Next, for validate product price field, so here we have to write body function with product price form field name. After this, we have to write not empty function, and then after, we have to called with message function with error message like product price is required. So it will check that if product price field has blank value, then it will display this error message on web page. Next, for validate product status form field value, so here we have to write body function with form field name product status. After this, we have to write is in function, and under this, we have to write an array, and in an array, we have to define two options like available and out of stock. After this, we have to write with message function with error message like invalid status. So this code will check if this product status field value have other this two option, then it will trigger this error message. Finally, after all those middleware and validation checks pass, our main async route handler function runs. Inside this function, we have to write const errors variable is equal to validation result function with request variable. This function gathers any validation errors that were flagged by our rule chain and packages them into a result object. After this, we want to check that this error variable value is empty, so we have to write if statement, and under condition, we have to write not operator with errors.isEmpty function. If this condition true, then it will execute if block of code, and under this block, we have to write return statement with response.status function with 400 status. After this, we have to write JSON function, and under this we have to write errors key. And in value we have to write error.array function.map function, and under this, we have to write error arrow function with error.message. So here, we map the errors array to just their message strings, and send them back to the React app, which will then display them to the user. If validation passes, we know our data is clean. And we can now safely destructure all the text fields from request.body. Multer is smart and populates request.body with the text fields, even when using multipart form data. After this, we have to write product image variable is equal to condition like if request.file is true, then we have to write request.file.path. And if this condition falls, then we have to define blank value. So here if product image uploaded, then uploaded image name has been stored under this product image variable. Now we are ready to talk to our database. So we wrap all of our database logic in a try and catch block. This is essential. If any database operation fails with error like a connection drop, a query error, then it will be handled under catch block, which preventing our server from crashing. Under try block, we have to write constant rows variable is equal to await db.query method, and under this, we have to write select query. So here, first we have checked that same name already exists, so this is a business logic, which check to prevent duplicates. Now we check the result, which will be an array of rows. We access the first row, and its count property. If that count is greater than 0, it means a product with that name does exist. So, we return a 409 conflict status. This is the specific HTTP code, that means the request is valid, but it conflicts with the current state of the server. This is the perfect error for a duplicate entry scenario. And our React app will receive this in its catch block. If the product is unique, then we proceed to await our insert query. We pass in the SQL string with placeholders for every value, and then a corresponding array of all our values. If the insert is successful, and does not throw an error, and so we send back a 201 created status. This is the standard, most descriptive HTTP status, for a successful post request, that results in a new resource being created. This is the success signal that our React app is waiting for. But if anything in that try block failed, for either the select query or the insert query, then the code jumps to our catch block, which receives the error object. Inside this block, we send a generic 500 internal server error status back to the client. We never send the raw error message back, as that could leak sensitive details about our database. So here, our code is ready, and now we have goes to Node terminal, and restart Node server. Now we have goes to browser, and click on Add Product button. So after click on Add Product button, here we can see that Add Product form has been displayed on web page. Now we want to check that validation is working or not, so we have directly click on Add button. So after click on Add button, here we can see that validation error has been displayed on web page. Now we have one by one fill all Add Product form field. And then after, we have select product image from local computer. Now we have click on Add button. So after click on Add button, here we can see that product data has been added in our React point of sale application with image upload. So here, in React POS application, Add Product with image upload functionality has been added, and next we want to edit existing product data with image upload.